Hey there, it's Paul in the fields, as usual, and today I'm here. Actually, I'm giving myself a treat, but I think it'll be a treat for you too. I've always been a fan of using or blending with or experimenting with tobaccos of unusual origin, because sometimes you can use them to create flavor profiles that are truly unique. So whether it's Ometepe tobacco, which comes from a tiny volcanic island in the middle of Lake Nicaragua, or high altitude Cordillera tobacco from the mountaintops of Costa Rica, or Perique tobacco from the Louisiana Bayou, or my personal favorite, the De Pantano tobacco, which only grows wild in the Babahoyo swamps in Ecuador. These kinds of tobaccos really give you the opportunity to do things that you really couldn't do any other way. So you can imagine my excitement when I heard that there was going to be a very limited edition new cigar released that was using tobacco grown on virgin land in the Amazon rainforest. And that got me very excited and interested and curious. So that's what we're going to talk about today. The cigar comes from CAO, who have been doing a lot of interesting smaller batch sort of experimental things lately. And this definitely fits the bill. The cigar is called Amazon Basin, appropriately enough, because it comes from the Amazon rainforest. I'm going to show it to you, and then I'm going to tell you about it, and then I'm going to smoke it with you. All right. It's a beauty. This tobacco wrapper looks absolutely lovely, and you will notice the band is very distinctive, and I'll talk to you about that in a second too. All right, I'm going to try to keep myself from lighting this until I've said a few things that I need to say. 40% of the tobacco in this cigar is grown, as I mentioned, on virgin land in the Amazon rainforest. The tobacco is called Braganza, which is actually the name of an area in the rainforest. It's also a town in Portugal, but that doesn't count. And they grow this tobacco on very small plots in areas that are right in the Amazon basin, which means that they flood often with all the nutrients of the Amazon River. The soil is incredibly fertile, and they only grow the tobacco once every 3 years, so the soil is kept healthy. They use no chemicals, no fertilizers, no insecticides, no nothing. It's virgin tobacco, it's virgin soil, which is a wonderful thing. That means there's going to be plenty of oils and starches and sugars for fermentation to eat on, and that means there's going to be a lot of flavor. But it doesn't end there, because the way they process this tobacco is also very unusual and distinctive. What they do basically is they take each leaf with the stem in it, they roll it into a little cylinder or a big cylinder, each leaf individually, fairly tight, and they pack them, thousands of them, very tightly together into giant wooden barrels. And once they're in the barrels, they're put under very high pressure and fermented under that high pressure. What does that do? It makes the fermentation naturally occur at a much higher temperature. More importantly, after 6 months of that kind of high pressure in the barrel fermentation, actually they call it carrots because each of the little clumps look like a carrot. After 6 months of that, each leaf is virtually oozing with oils and sugars and flavor, which is just a great thing. So they take 40% that, they mix it with tobaccos from 5 other countries just to give this blend as much complexity as possible, and wrap the whole thing in this beautiful sun-grown Ecuadorian wrapper. It sounds like it ought to be great. I'm sure it's going to be great. I can't wait. So I'm not going to wait. I'm going to light up. Holy cow. Actually, before light, you can already taste the oils and sugars in this tobacco. There's a little bit upfront spice, but let's see what's really going on. Toast good. No. I'm containing myself. I'm trying not to get too wound up. Right off the bat, the cigar has a little bit of pepper up front. Not a lot, not too intense. It's a nice black pepper. Obviously, lots and lots of smoke. Perfect draw. Great construction. By the way, since it's made by CAO, you know that the quality is going to be there. The combination of black pepper and a subtle sweetness on the finish of each puff is really nice. This is I mean, I'm a 1/16 of an inch into this cigar, and I already love it. Medium full, definitely on the full side of medium right away. But along with that black pepper and sweetness, I'm getting a really, really interesting combination of what I would call dark flavors. What I mean by that is I'm getting a little bit of dark roasted coffee, almost like an espresso or French roast bean kind of flavor. Some dark molasses flavor, you know, sweet but tangy at the same time. Black pepper. Caramelized, kind of a caramelized sugar flavor too. This is like a really dense, dark, smoky rum, except it's not rum flavored. It's tobacco flavored. You know, that high pressure fermentation process really brings up every available bit of flavor in the leaf and just concentrates it. You probably would never be able to smoke a Puro made out of that kind of tobacco. All right, so I'll mention, as I always do, that this brand new cigar from CAO is, of course, available at Cigars, while it's available at all, because with tobacco being grown only every 3 years in these little plots in the rainforest, there are not a lot of these cigars around. They don't have any kind of crazy limited edition pricing. They're in the $9 range. They're in Cigars, so if you come into one of our stores, you'll find them. If you go to our website, you'll see the same story that I'm telling you here today. But I have to say, if I was going to wax poetic about a cigar and just go nutso about it being distinctive and tasty and unique in its character, I couldn't do any better than this, at least so far. That's after a ½ inch. I got a long ways to go and nothing but flavor ahead of me. And I have a feeling this is going to be an interesting ride. I feel like I'm canoeing down the Amazon. So what I'm going to do, as usual, is I will bow out and sit back in my personal Amazon jungle and smoke this down into, we'll say past the halfway mark, and come back and let you know what I'm thinking, and we'll go from there. See you later. So I'm back. Gotta tell you, I'm usually a fast smoker. I blast my way through cigars pretty quick. I have had a joyful hour with this cigar, which is pretty much a Toro in size, and I've still got a couple of inches left on it. There's a lot to say about this cigar. The flavors are dense. It's like you could chew on the smoke, but at the same time, the cigar is not heavy. It's not intrusive. There are all kinds of subtleties. I'll tell you that as we've gotten into the back half of the cigar, the pepper flavor sort of rises up and settles back down, and rises up and settles back down. A level of creaminess has emerged that just gets richer and richer, so it's a real creamy kind of cigar. And then there's all of those dark flavors that just seem to intensify. Again, dark roast coffee, maybe molasses or caramelized sugar, or all of the above. You mix that with the creaminess, and what you have is a really strong cup of cappuccino. With some pepper sprinkled on top. By the way, the burn has been razor straight. The ash is very tight. It's a darkish ash, which is fine by me. The draw has been impeccable, start to finish, or I'm nowhere near finished. This one's going to be a nubber. I'm going to have to get a roach clip for the end of this. I am ecstatic. Now, I mentioned earlier that I wanted to tell you a little something about the band. So I'm going to show it to you close. And you might be able to tell the band is actually a small sprig of that Amazon tobacco, sort of twisted into like a twine and wrapped 5 times around the cigar, and just sealed in place with the tobacco, the vegetable glue that they use to assemble the cigar in the first place. So meanwhile, smoke often, smoke happy. If you can get a hold of one of these, I can pretty much promise you you're going to smoke very happy. That's it for now.